I never understood point fighting because to me, the purpose of punch, the purpose of kick is do damage. And how do you do damage if you're missing the target? I always felt accuracy is a holy grail of just about any. And I came back to this country and when punches and kicks not making contact and you go out and you fight some little bitty guy and he just waves his foot at your head or something and they give him the victory. So that made me, well, it left a bad taste in my mouth against sport. Bruce Lee kind of got me back in full contact. We studied a lot of old boxing films like Willie Pep, who a lot of Italians feel is pound for pound the best fighter of all time, and some people Sugar Ray Robinson. We'd watch Willie Pep's footwork. We watched the explosive in the Jack Dempsey's fight films. We watched the stationary positioning of the great Joe Louis when he got on the inside, like in a pocket. We'd watch the distance and the mobility tactic of a Muhammad Ali. And it kind of got me interested in full contact as opposed to the stationary kind of you hit me, I hit you back, your turn, my turn type fighting. So I got tired and I got kind of disgusted with what they call point fighting. As I walked into the ring that night, the announcer, he says, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to watch for the first time kickboxing. And that's where the word kickboxing started in America. So in the record books, they made me the father of American kickboxing. I don't care how much pain you're in. As long as you can move, it's harder for your opponent to finish you off if you're a moving target, if you're stationary. And that's why I like going back to full contact. That's why I like the kickboxing, because it was real.
I want this chance to show you that your God in karate is so much nonsense, and that's quite easy to do.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another exciting edition of H8L Presents Fistfights and Fried Rice. I am your host, Tazz. Joining me tonight, I have with us the lover of all things DBC. I bring to you the one, the only Deku. Also brought with us this evening, rolling 15 inches deep, the destroyer of all things ovaries. The man that every man wishes they can be, and the man that every woman wishes they can be with. I bring to you the Bastach himself, Lobo.
I was born ready for this.
Kind of close.
Give it to him.
You got it right last week.
He said
it right last week.
But he said it like it was a fucking question.
4 words, Lobo. It's 4 words. It's I was born ready.
Also brought with us this evening, as cool as the other side of the pillow, my spirit animal. The yin to my yang, I bring to you a one Mr. UTBABYA.
This is the sound of my voice.
The man that truly needs no introduction. The connoisseur of all things combat sports. The Rain Man of martial arts. The self-appointed black man of Dagestan. I bring to you the one, a one Mr. Justice Magnificent.
Yo, it's cold out here in Dagestan.
I think it's pretty hot right now, especially with Khabib having destroyed another soul and taken another scalp to add to his mantle. I feel like Dagestan would be fucking party central right now.
Yeah. It probably don't matter what your religion is. It don't matter what you believe in or what walk of life you come from. And I don't know. I feel like they're going crazy over there, man.
Or as the kids would say, they're going ham.
Well, I haven't heard that term since college.
God damn it, is that one old? Fuck, that's old? Going ham?
Yeah.
That's pretty old.
That's like 2009, 10, I believe.
Are you fucking serious? Going ham is old?
No. Younger people still use it sometimes. I've heard it from younger people in the last couple of years. It's
really?
Okay.
And
actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Notice he said a couple of years.
I haven't heard that term in 10 years.
No, I mean like within the last like 3 years, I've definitely heard that more than a few times from people in their early 20s.
Oh shit!
It's not like
came out about 2011.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's still used.
Wasn't it on the album? Like, I know Jay-Z was involved in it.
It was like Jay-Z or Kanye, one of them.
Oh, yeah, it was on that first album. Yeah, I remember.
God damn it.
As a matter of fact, they had a song called Ham.
Ham, yeah.
I think that's where it came from, yeah.
Well, God damn it, it's new to me. So fuck all of you. What's up, Mustang?
This is good.
Glad you're able to join us this evening. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. The greatness that is Khabib.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, did anyone else feel like he just sunned Justin Gaethje?
He did more than sun him. He took him into the backyard, handed him a baseball bat, and was like, "Son, I'm going to show you not only how to catch a ball, how to hit a ball, but I am going to become your father."
Yeah, it was like he was just playing with his kid out in the backyard.
I don't know if we're going to see a fighter of his caliber ever in the U.S. They say Islam is pretty good, but I don't. Of course, he's not Khabib. No one's Khabib, but the way he dominates people, I don't know. Maybe some guy maybe some of this little kid in Dagestan that we about to hear about in 10 or 15 years, and they say he might be the next Khabib. I don't.
Can we all just agree that, and I'm convinced of this, something about the way that Khabib touches you or grabs you in some kind of way that makes you spaz the fuck out. I have never seen Justin Gaethje so rattled to get his wrist grabbed before, to the point where he just started flailing and just throwing haymakers uncontrollably just to get Khabib to not grab him. He looked like a scared child being face-to-face with a pissed-off father.
But did you hear in the corner where he said to Trevor Whitman when Whitman told him he needed to calm down? And he was like... he said something to the fact of how with so much pressure I can't. He was like,
so to answer your question before you move on, everyone who's ever done an interview about their experiences with Khabib has said that he is abnormally strong. Like, you will look at him, you would think that there's no possible way that he has like Daniel Cormier. Daniel's like, hey, yeah, I'm fighting at heavyweight, and Khabib and I are going like neck and neck, like as far as hand fighting is concerned. Like, he's that strong. Like, Rocco's like, I don't know too many 55ers that chase me around the training room and want to go with me. And then there was a video, like, you know how DC, like, they have the DC Khabib romance, and it's hilarious, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things on there is like that. There was one where Khabib was on top of DC, right? I'm not sure if Khabib took him down or whatever the case may be. So Daniel's just sitting there, laying there, and he's like, all right, I'm about to get up now, whatever. And then like 30 seconds later, DC's still on the ground, and you're like, yeah, I thought he was going to get up. So you think that he's just, he's just bullshitting, he's just whatever. And then in the interview later, he's like, yo, I'm trying to get up for real. He's like, it was hard. Like,
I mean, dude, this guy's got to have fucking gorilla strength. His body language looked like he stumbled into a den full of bees and he is trying everything he can to keep him getting stung. The way he was just flailing those arms around, I was like, bro, he's just hoping to hit something. He don't give a fuck what.
That's a good example. Because it looked like he was just flailing, like you said, just flailing around.
The way he was tapping in that triangle, you would have thought he was having a fucking heart attack.
He went out, right?
He went out.
He was asleep. Yeah, the ref kind of let it go. Like, what? I don't know what
because he tapped a couple times.
The reffing was real bad all night.
That ref watched him die. That's why I'm convinced that ref had money on that fight or something, because he was like, bro, I need you to last 10 more seconds and then I'll get my payout. But props to Khabib, 29-0. His status as a GOAT can never, ever be questioned. Well, my hat's off to Khabib, 29-0. I don't think we'll ever see another fighter like him, at least not in our generation. But if we do, cool. But I think no matter what, whoever wins that 155 title, no matter what, will always have that asterisk next to their name. And that's because of the likes of Khabib. Gentlemen, episode 19. Master Blasted. Giving the listeners an earful of greatness on the topic of the Master Blaster Manson Gibson, as well as discussing American kickboxing. Since we have quite the knowledgeable group of individuals on this podcast tonight, I am looking forward to hearing some of your open thoughts and discussions in regards to not only Manson Gibson, a.k.a. the Thai Killer, a.k.a. the Master Blaster, but that of American kickboxing as well. Gentlemen, let me guys ask you this. Why do you feel kickboxing is huge in every other fucking country but here? And by kickboxing, I don't mean like your Dutch kickboxing. I don't mean your K1 rules. I don't mean your modified Muay Thais. And I sure as shit don't mean Muay Thai. I mean the long pants, karate booties, boxing gloves, wearing your belt on the outside, topless or whatever. Why do you feel that shit is huge everywhere but here?
Because Americans are one of the more outer shape countries out there. We are like a first world country, which means we have a lot of creature comforts. And because we have so many creature, it's like being real, we have so many creature comforts that we get to focus on things that are just fun or entertaining or flashy or whatever. Like, you know how many people out there in America have never been punched in the face, have never been in a fight? They get everything handed to them, so to speak, as far as just, the nice, cushy, fun experiences in life are concerned. And self-defense or a lot of other things aren't focused on like it is in other places.
Deku, what about yourself? Why do you think American Style Kickboxing is big everywhere but here?
I have a lot of answers to this. I feel like the reason why it's big in other countries and not really here is because the style at the time was very limited, and we was very, what's the word I'm looking for, big boy, or saying we have the big dick or whatever. It's like, no, our style is better, and it really isn't. Not, because like I just said, it's very limited. You only can kick what at the time was above the waist. You couldn't throw leg kicks, and a certain amount of punches or kicks in a round. That's a very limited style of combat.
Lobo, same to you, same question.
I guess I would have to. The re-popularity of boxing and then MMA going off the ground was why kickboxing never really caught back off in America.
That was deep. Okay, I like that. UTBABYA.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people kind of conflated kickboxing with like a bastardized form of boxing.
Okay.
But that's just my perception of it.
I dig that. Justice, your thoughts, sir?
I don't know what UTBABYA said about about the whole thing, and then what Lobo said about boxing, that was a part of it. Here's just my opinion on it. And it's kind of what Mustang was saying, being American and being that we had to be in the limelight, there's no way that you can send, during the late 70s, early 70s, early 80s, you got kickboxers going to Thailand getting smashed. So you come back and you be like, this worldwide news, okay, American kickboxing doesn't work in Thailand. Americans, we're gonna be like, fuck, we're gonna sweep that up under the rug and be like, nah, we ain't dealing with this. We're all boxing over here. We don't fuck with that shit.
Okay. See, I think for myself, when I think of American kickboxing, I think about it as a rise and fall kind of thing. I think stemming from how it first originated with, your point karate fighters who weren't making any contact, who were just kind of flailing the technique in the air, and some referee or some judge would nominate you the winner based upon a theory of whether or not that technique would have actually landed or hurt you or put you out. And as that migrated more into American kickboxing, where cats were finally getting into an actual boxing ring and actually landing with these techniques with actual boxing gloves on, I can understand why it grew in popularity. Karate was already big at that time. 50s, 60s, 70s, karate was huge. Karate was all the rage. And now you take this karate and now you put it in a live, full contact setting, and you can now finally waddle through all the bullshit techniques or all the bullshit arts versus that of what would actually be used and actually be effective. I could see how that would have gotten, the type of play on ESPN and pay-per-views and shit like that, like it was doing back in the day. And I could see how that would gravitate to other countries around the world that are like, you know what, hey, we're the French, we got our own form of kickboxing. Oh, we're the Thais, we got our own form of shit. Oh, we're the Dutch, we got our own form of shit. And I could see how that would be a heyday. And I could even see how the flashy pants and the fucking karate booties and the, coming out to the ring to Eye of the fucking Tiger or whatever the fuck it is that they were bumping on, how that would have made you look like the hardest motherfucker on the planet. But I guess I can't figure out exactly what was the correlation between kickboxing having such a heyday and then it just fucking dying off the face of the planet. And I say that in terms of Americans for American audiences. Because like I said, at one time, this shit used to air on ESPN. Kickboxing used to sell out Madison Square fucking Garden. cats like Joe Louis, Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham, Benny the Jetter Quides, Don the Dragon Wilson, Bill Superfoot Wallace, Bad Brad, Manson, Gibson. These were all household names at one time. Within a handful of years, it went from, like I said, selling out Madison Square Garden to being looked at as a fucking joke. And at first I was like, okay, well, maybe I can contribute that to the rise of NHB. And for you younger listeners, NHB was what MMA was called before it was called. Your NHB style matches, obviously your popularities in shit like K1. Because let's call it what it is. A lot of those American kickboxers did not fare well when they went over to K1. The leg kicks and the limited clinch completely changed and fucked the game. But I think like Justice said it best, some of these cats that went over to Thailand and got fucking worked, or went over to other countries and got worked. But for those that didn't do that and that stayed on American soil, and for the very few that did go overseas and put on dominant performances, I'm honestly just surprised that it didn't help keep I don't want to say keep the art alive, but I'm honestly shocked the fanfare and the fan base died the way it did.
Also, I'll say this. Then too, you have to think about a lot of times the old guard, or as we say, the old heads, didn't want to let go either.
Yeah, when the French have a rougher fighting art than you do, that's no offense to any rude, I can say it.
That is rude.
All offense.
All the offense.
But it's not flashy though. It's not flashy.
Yeah.
We like flashy. We like flashy.
You can tell the difference between people who have been hit and people who haven't. If you've been hit by something, like if you've done a physical like impact sport or combat sport, you will appreciate someone getting cracked in the leg and it sounding like a baseball bat hitting something.
Right.
That is not something I want to deal with. Whereas like the public at large, they're like, he's just kicking him in the leg. That wouldn't hurt that much.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
They're like, why you keep kicking in the leg? That doesn't do anything.
No, my favorite is
my
favorite is when you see somebody take that leg kick and their whole shit buckles and they do their best to poker face out like it didn't hurt, but deep down inside they're ready to cry.
Yeah, like they hold the poker face, but like their Adam's apple quivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just see their legs slowly start turning red and yellow and purple.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you faint just a little bit and they panic, like it's
yeah. Agreed. So that brings me on to my next topic. We pretty much hit the nail on the head in regards to why kickboxing is huge in every other country, but here I think Justice is the one that hit the home run. I think once the flashiness died out and people were just going into those rings and genuinely fighting to win, I think that marked the end of American Style Kickboxing.
I mean, think about it though. When you're talking about no holds barred MMA, right now it's as popular as it ever has been. But when you think about it, when it first started out, you started getting those casual fans. It's like boxing when you're just looking for the knockout. You saw guys going to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody started booing.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. But if you saw guys standing up trading, they was kicking, they was punching, then the fans were like, they were thrilled.
I dig that. So let me ask you this. This probably might be a hot take on that. Seeing how kickboxing basically comes from karate and taekwondo and point karate and so forth, technically, wouldn't kickboxing technically be a mixed martial art of sorts?
Okay,
yeah.
Let's go there. Let's go there.
Let's go there. An incomplete one.
No, technically. Hold on. Let's go there.
Yeah,
we're gonna go there. He brought it there. Okay, for all you Dutch kickboxing fans, where does it come from? You aficionados, you love Dutch kickboxing. Oh yeah, you want to go to Thailand? You gotta learn the Dutch style. Where does it come from?
The answer to that would be from the Japanese martial art Kyokushinkai, as well as Western boxing. For those that didn't know the answer to that question.
Mixed martial arts is you take one art, you take another art, you mix it, and it's by by definition a mixed martial art.
Facts.
So I can mix boxing with Taekwondo. I'm a mixed martial artist, right?
Technically,
I'm not
yes.
a complete mixed martial artist, right? Because if I don't know how to transition from standing to the ground, or if I don't know how to defend myself or execute some type of offense from the ground once I transition, then I'm not a complete mixed martial artist, right? So when I think it's
we're not talking about complete mixed martial arts here.
Okay.
Well, that's a hot topic.
That's the question. That's the qualifying question, right?
Because you're basically saying that a mixed martial art isn't. You're basically saying a mixed martial art is not a complete one unless there is some ground-based training or application. Correct?
Yeah. In my experience, from my perspective, I don't believe it's a complete art if there's not some type of ground as well as standing as well as.
And I'll take that. I agree with you to an extent. My whole thing is, again, we're talking American Style Kickboxing, or just known as kickboxing. In that rule set, there is no groundwork. In that rule set, there is nothing in terms of the take. I shouldn't say takedowns, but there is nothing in terms of ground fighting. Put yourself back in that time frame when going to the ground was considered a coward's way of fighting.
Or gay.
Or, damn.
Yeah.
Just being honest, they think I was gay.
Let's just mark that for editing.
Oh man, woo, let's put a pin in that. But with that being said, that was a skill set that you didn't have to have during that time, because in these kickboxing style matches, the ground wasn't something you had to worry about. So I do agree with you to an extent when you say that, or when we say that kickboxing is technically a mixed martial art, albeit not a fully complete one, but still, at least in my humble opinion, a mixed martial art nonetheless.
I agree with you, right? What I will also say is that you can pick anyone plus or minus 20 pounds of me that wants to call themselves a mixed martial artist and that does not know how to do anything on the ground or know how to defend takedowns or do anything transitionary all day. I'll take that fight any day.
Would you, though?
I would.
Would you?
I would. If I needed to, yeah, I would.
Would you?
I put it like this. I would. I said plus or minus 20 pounds, first of all, right? So there's that. Number two, I don't think.
So if Wonder Boy Thompson knocks on your door and is like, "Hey, I'm talking Wonder Boy Thompson pre-UFC, back when this cat didn't wrestle, he didn't grapple, everything was just American style kickboxing. This dude knocks on your door and he's like, "Hey, I heard you on that great podcast called Fist Fights and Fried Rice, and I heard minus 20 or 30 pounds, you would be willing to go with anybody, or you would take that fight."
I would take that fight.
With Wonder Boy Thompson.
Wonder Boy Thompson is one of the most elite mixed martial artists on the planet, right?
Is he? Or is he one of the most elite strikers?
No. He's one of the most elite mixed martial artists on the planet, right? He's definitely one of the most elite
strikers. When have you seen his ground game?
But, no. So look, here's my point, right? If Wonder Boy was not able to defend takedowns, right? If he was not able to defend ground and pound, jiu-jitsu, whatever the case may be, then he would not be one of the most elite mixed martial artists. He would be an elite striker, which means that all he's able to do is keep it on his feet, of course. Like, look, I'm not saying I will go against anybody and I'm winning. It's a sure thing, right? But I feel good about my odds, right? Like, I'm pretty decent at takedowns. I'm pretty good at judo. I'm pretty decent at jiu-jitsu. And if you can beat me, and I'm pretty decent on the feet as well, right? As a matter of fact, better than all those other things I just mentioned. So I feel confident in myself on the feet. Not necessarily world-class, but that's okay. Hey, you can be world-class on your feet, but if I can get my hands on you, you're plus or minus 20 pounds, and you do not know how to defend takedowns, you do not know how to stop submissions, you don't know how to shrimp, bridge, all those other skills that you get off the ground, yeah, I like my chances.
So you like your chances against Roy Jones or Mike Tyson or any of these cats?
Okay, first of all, Tyson. You said Tyson, bro. Like, that's an anomaly, number one. Second of all, he's not within 20 pounds of me.
He don't grapple.
So over that.
I mean,
Tazz, stop messing with you. Trying to get him started.
This podcast is gonna get real long.
He's trying to get him started. You trying to get him started, but no, that's not even a fair comparison for one, because again, Wonder Boy Thompson, what a lot of people don't understand is his brother-in-law is Carlos Machado.
Facts.
So the groundwork has always been there. Like, there you go. I mean, so that wouldn't be the thing.
I couldn't help myself.
So don't quit trying to feed him.
I couldn't help myself.
Bait him into an argument. mixed martial. You said mixed martial art.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what do you think about shoot boxing?
It's for pussies.
Hey.
Shoot boxing, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? I know we had a podcast on this, right? But in my opinion, shoot boxing was basically kind of, sort of, the first type of MMA, as far as fighting is concerned, as far as competition is concerned. Not the first, I'm sorry, but the first known, right? Like in our lifetime type of. Is that inaccurate? Oh my god.
So I think you think about Shudo. You might be talking about Shudo.
He's about Shudo.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah, no, I ain't talking about that. No, but no, shoot boxing is the rules are it's pretty much like Muay Thai, except you got grappling, you got throws, and you got stand up submission.
Yeah, so that's basically MMA, right?
But you don't go to the ground.
Oh, why don't you go to the ground? That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What is your thoughts on it? Is that still like a mixed martial arts, or is that like more? Is this a hybrid sport, or what would you call it?
It's a mixed martial arts, but it's not complete. I think if you don't incorporate every element where the fight can take place, it's not a complete mixed martial art.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
UTBABYA, how about yourself? You consider kickboxing technically a mixed martial art, or as Mustang was saying, an incomplete mixed martial art?
I think any art that doesn't address all the areas of combat is incomplete. So I think there's a lot of arts that like even if you look at like judo, right? So like judo in and of itself, like you could, I guess, call it a sort of mixed martial art because it takes like the traditional like warrior elements of jiu-jitsu and gets rid of a lot of them and just takes in throws, but then also incorporates groundwork and submissions. So that's kind of a mixed martial art, but they took out all the strikes. Now,
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly because if you like you used a great example with judo, you got the submissions, you got the groundwork, you got the throws, but people forget in early systems of judo there were strikes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you had techniques for standing, you had techniques for grappling, you had techniques for submissions. So technically, judo would be a mixed martial art.
I've heard that old school judo was one of the most fighting styles.
It was.
It was originally called jiu-jitsu, and it was just the way that it was just the form of combat on foot. If you were dismounted from your horse, that the Japanese use, and then judo itself got extracted just from it got stripped. A lot of the stuff stripped away for sport reasons. But yeah, it comes from a war art, so yeah, it's definitely very complete.
All right, so let me ask you guys this then. Since we're talking American Style Kickboxing and we've mentioned some other kickboxers from other countries, in terms of events of yesterday versus events of today, we're talking old school ESPN American Style Kickboxing versus Glory Kickboxing events of today. Obviously, Glory Kickboxing events, they bring in more people, more viewership, I would say. I mean, when I look at those crowds prior to the pandemic, what was it? Verhoeven and Badr Hari damn near broke almost every fucking kickboxing record for their fight, or should say for their rematch.
Yes.
But when I think of American Style Kickboxing versus that of Glory Kickboxing, American Style Kickboxing was at least able to secure TV deals. Like, they appeared on ESPN, they appeared on TNN. I want to say even early ABC or early CBS Sports used to air American Style Kickboxing. Why the fuck can't Glory do the same thing?
Because Glory's not an American company.
Because Americans suck.
Huh.
And to be fair, the UFC's out there.
Yeah, but that's two different sports, though.
Yeah, but it's still
two different sports?
Not to the average watcher.
Oh, say it again, UTBABYA?
To the average American, as far as fighting is concerned, you have boxing and you have recently had the UFC, and some of them WWE. To be honest with you, right? Let's be real.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That's an unfortunate. Yeah, Americans think there's WWE, boxing, and then everything else, which is all MMA, apparently.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
But I think for most people who actually really want to see fighting, if they want to see punches and kicks, they're like, I can see UFC because the UFC has everything. So I think that the UFC is blown up, is taking away whatever traction Glory would have gotten here, just because there's only so much of a palette for combat sports, period, number one, right? Especially casuals. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, if I'm going to watch fighting, and I realize that boxing isn't the end-all, be-all, and I realize there is more to it than punches, or punches and kicks, then I might as well do punches, kicks, ground fighting as well.
And plus, by the way, fuck Glory. They don't pay their fighters, and you know what? Fuck them. So if they crash tomorrow, I no longer give a shit. Long live K1. The end.
Well, let's remember, Glory is a slush fund for a billionaire.
Ah, very true, very true. I'm just waiting.
Y'all hear Tyrone Spong is looking for a fight in MMA, supposedly?
Yeah.
He's like 2-0 in MMA.
He can't get a fight in. He can't get a fight in boxing.
Nope.
Man, I wouldn't fight Tyrone. Why? Like, how long has it been since he?
I think a high-level boxer would fuck Tyrone up.
In MMA or?
Oh no! I said boxing, sir.
Oh yeah, boxing. This is boxing. Like, when I think of Tyrone Spong, boxing is not what comes to mind. Like,
you know what? That's fair. I deserve that. That was fair. That was fair.
I literally think about having my midsection kicked through, like just clean, like cut in half by a leg kick. I'm sorry, by a round kick.
Tyrone Spong got to get off the juice.
He's not on the juice. It was found negative. They retested.
Oh, is this what we're doing?
So stop it.
Is this what we're doing?
And I will argue this.
Oh.
I will dig whatever sayings you want to say.
Oh.
He is not on the juice. He's
not on the juice.
Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. No, don't say that.
It's so cute that you think a professional athlete is not on the sauce.
It's almost adorable.
He is not.
He
is one of the last great originals that is not on the juice. Okay.
Wait a second. Hang on. I think I hear Deku's conscious.
How about new?
And they go on the juice.
Okay. So here's what I would say on behalf of Deku and myself, Mr. Spong. If you ever come into the House of 8 Limbs, like, I have nothing to like.
I don't give a shit if he beats my ass.
I
don't care.
Everybody there. I don't
give a fuck. I'll still say it, and I still ride behind it. That motherfucker's on the juice. I don't care. There's no shame about it. You guys act like I'm against fighters on the juice. Oh, the complete opposite. If I could, I would help pass out thermoses full of juice so all the fighters can get out there and be completely juiced to the gills, pissing lasers and running through fucking buildings, because that's how I know I'm guaranteed to see a very entertaining fight. I am all for fighters taking steroids. All for it.
Okay, that's right.
All for it. I'm not against it.
So what was in that water you gave me after practice last week?
Oh man, it was full of juice. Look, if the day ever comes where I'm cornering any of you motherfuckers for a fight, and this goes back to the heinous crimes episode, and you see me grab a water bottle with duct tape and shit around it, best believe there's some shit in there. Best believe.
That's called just being a good corner, man.
I'm just being completely honest with you. When you come into that corner, you're like, Coach, I can't stand, I can't walk, I can't do anything. Hang on, I got some shit for you. Mustang, hand me that water bottle. No. The one with the duct tape on it. The one that I mixed. Yeah, shake that shit up. Shake it like you're mad at it. There you go. Yeah, go ahead.
That's proof that was clearly cheating. But he was found. It was negative. They retested him and it was negative.
Why do you still have to serve that sentence though?
Bro, you know how many steroids there are?
Yeah, you're missing some key parts of that there, Deku.
Yeah, he got caught using. He got caught using. He didn't get caught with steroids. He got caught with the stuff used to clean out the steroid.
Yep. No. Say it again, Justice.
That's what everybody gets popped for, by the way.
Yeah, he got caught using the stuff to clean out the steroids out his system.
I would welcome to see Tyrone Spong fight MMA. Because let's call it what it is, he has absolutely nothing left to accomplish anymore in kickboxing in any kind of way. So I would welcome that to MMA, and hopefully he does better in MMA than Gokhan Saki did.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Roundtree put him out.
Is he retired? Did he retire, or he's just like not fighting right now? Like, what's with him?
Roundtree made him find Jesus.
After Roundtree, and he knocked him outstanding. That's the bad. Isn't Tyrone a heavyweight though?
In boxing.
in boxing. Yeah.
What about MMA? Because when you look at him, I think he'd be a 205er.
Yeah,
he fought
MMA.
He fought light heavyweight. Yeah, his last MMA fight, he fought light heavyweight.
Here's the thing, because I think him and Rumble train together, right? Like I think they're boys. Because you talk about a fight, bro. Yo, I would not mind seeing Spong in the UFC, man. Like heavy. Yo, you talking about bad days for people.
Yeah, but he wouldn't pass Usada though.
Stop it right now. Stop it. I hate your negativity right now. He does not want anything. Will you please stop?
Man, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. Just some Tyrone haters.
Hold on. Here's a question. Who we think gets him in light heavy in the UFC? I mean, obviously, we don't really know what his takedown and ground game is like.
Rumble fucking Johnson.
He wouldn't fight Rumble. They're on the same team, so they would. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll take Rumble out of the list. Who does he fight at 205?
Yeah. I think he does. I think Rumble does get him out.
I think he takes the belt.
I don't know. I see a couple sparring sessions on the internet. Like Tyrone was getting the better of him.
You think Rumble beats Spong?
No, hell no. Fuck no.
I'm asking Mustang. Hang on, Mustang.
I think it does.
Wait, hang on. I'm asking Mustang. Mustang, you think Rumble beats Spong?
Wrestling, mixed martial arts. I think he gets them to the ground and doesn't need. You saw what he did to Phil Davis. I think he's still capable. Like AJ's a wrestler, yo. He knows how to wrestle. He doesn't use it much because he can punch people.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant standing. I was about to laugh in your fucking face.
You said you thought standing.
Well, hold on.
Nobody out. I don't think Adesanya outstrikes.
Hold on.
Whoa! You don't think Adesanya outstrikes Spong?
Hold on.
I think Spong hits too hard, man. I think Spong is too powerful, and I think they.
I think that everybody don't get the transition from kickboxing with 16-ounce gloves to MMA, to the 4-ounce gloves. If you look at the last fight he had, which Angel Dejada or something, I can't say his name. It's Angel something. It's a Spanish guy. WSOF. Spong didn't do great in that fight standing up, especially with his hands.
He did not.
Like, you gotta look at the fight.
Talking about his last fight, his last MMA fight.
His last MMA fight, he did that transition of 8-ounce gloves, 10-ounce gloves to 4-ounce gloves. It's not the same.
It's not.
Okay, but that's not what I feel that, but that's not what we were saying. That's not what I was saying.
Yeah,
I was saying
with Rumble.
I was saying
with Rumble Johnson. Yeah, 4-ounce gloves.
No, I agree. So, but still, we're saying different things, right? So, I think Rumble takes Tyrone and MMA. I think if you go straight up kickboxing match, Adesanya versus Tyrone, I give it to Tyrone. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I agree. Tyrone beats Israel kickboxing. His name is the king of the ring for a reason.
The reason why I say that, and here's the reason why I say that, right? Like, Adesanya is great, right? Adesanya is great. Tyrone is great, right? Size matters, man. Size matters, right? So you sit there, and what did some people think about Paulo? They're like, he's bigger, he can pressure, he can all this other stuff. And obviously, Paulo had nowhere near the skill set necessary to do so. Tyrone has the skill set to do that, and he's bigger. Pressure, right? Weight classes exist for a reason. I'm not saying. I might be wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. So let me tell you this.
But
the other guys besides Mustang, you guys think that Israel would beat Tyrone in a kickboxing match?
Fuck yes. Pure kickboxing?
What is wrong?
No. Hang on. Listen to the question. You said pure kickboxing. In a pure kickboxing match, I would put Adesanya over Tyrone Spong.
Bro.
That's a fair assessment. But.
So I really think
we're talking kickboxing. You didn't say in a full rules Muay Thai match. You said kickboxing. That length from Adesanya will be a fucking problem.
Tyrone beats him in Muay Thai and kickboxing.
Muay Thai.
Smoke weed.
How about that Muay Thai?
Smoke weed every day.
And the reason why I say Muay Thai is because his knees are so his knees are a thing of legend, right? So let's go Muay Thai. How about that?
Oh, Muay Thai? Oh, it's the Spong show all day.
Thank you.
Because knees and elbows change goddamn everything.
That's all I'm saying.
But in terms of a kickboxing match, now notice what I said. Knees and elbows change everything. That means Spong has to get close to him to use those knees and elbows. If we're talking straight kickboxing, Adesanya has proven he has absolutely no problem keeping people at bay with strikes.
Yeah, I give you that.
And I think Adesanya is a lot faster than Spong.
He is, he is. But when it comes down to it, Spong has, and I'm not talking about Paulo Costa power. Spong has dynamite power. Jack. Dynamite power, dude.
Because of the juice. The juice. Steroids.
Dude, like,
steroids.
Like, juice and no juice.
Juice is loose.
Juice and no juice.
He's not on the juice. Never was.
I think we agree. I think we can all agree, right? So if you say straight kickboxing, like, look, Adesanya is 6'3", right? He's 6'3". He has range. He's a phenomenal striker. He's fast as hell. Like he throws the fastest question mark kick I've ever seen before in my life. Right. So when you talk about that, yeah, all right. But if you throw knees, elbows, Muay Thai rules,
game changes at that point.
Spong is going. Yeah. So there's that.
You know what else changes too? Spong gets a hold of you and he starts working those knees and elbows. You know, he's got that other factor that Adesanya would have to worry about. Steroids! And, you know, that would play a huge factor, especially when you're dealing with steroids.
You know what I want to see?
And someone's kneeing you and elbowing you and they're on steroids.
Okay. Now that you mentioned, you know what I want to see? I want to see Paulo Costa go up to 205. I want to see him versus Spong.
So you just want to see Costa die. You just want to see Costa die. That's clearly what that is.
Yeah, he died already. He was going to die again.
You just want to see somebody legally murdered. What the fuck?
He died and got what did Michael Bisping say? Pumped and dumped.
Yeah, he did. He got pumped and dumped. He was treated like a last minute prom date. That was entirely uncalled for. So we're going to take a 2-second break, and when we come back, the human encyclopedia of all things martial arts is going to be so kind as to fill our ears with the greatness that is Manson Gibson. Justice, would you be so kind as to educate our listeners on who exactly is the Thai killer, Manson Gibson?
All right, so Manson Gibson, the Master Blaster, a.k.a. the Thai Killer, a.k.a. the Black Bruce Lee. I mean, this guy was amazing. I mean, we're talking about Taekwondo style, American kickboxing style, some Kung Fu, like Northern Kung Fu style that he learned. He blended it into his American kickboxing, and it worked. He fought the best of the best. He fought Ernesto Hoost. He fought Cesar Takashi, who started shoot boxing. He fought, a who's who, Rick Rufus twice. He fought a who's who of, in the early 90s, late 90s, in kickboxing, Muay Thai. But he didn't have a conventional style. I mean, his style was, he was always at an angle. He was parallel to everyone else. And, he didn't worry about leg kicks, didn't worry about checking leg kicks. And he won plenty of titles with that style.
12-time Muay Thai kickboxing champion.
And we talking about IKF, IKKC, shoot boxing, kick, UKF, IKL, WKO, WACO, WAKO, WKF, ring fighting arts, all those.
And he was a shoot boxing champion.
Right. So all those was his. And you always hear this thing about American kickboxing against, or that American style against Thai, or against, Thai boxing, Muay Thai kickboxing. Not at all. Spin kicks. He actually had a move where he would actually throw a heel kick twice. The first one was just meant to be just a decoy, just to come back around with another kick. Ask Johnny Davis. Can I finish?
Is he still asleep? How long is he asleep? Someone wake him up.
I knew you were about that laughing. I don't think he's
Yo, what weight class did he fight at? What weight classes did he compete in?
So he went all the way up from like middleweight to cruiserweight, heavyweight, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, he
so
fought.
He's a decent sized dude. Because you said he fought on Ernesto Hoos, and I know Hoos won.
Yeah, Ernesto Hoos is a big guy, but not real heavy as far as weight. So when they fought in K2, which was after the K1 tournament, one of the first ones that was really televised, you know, you can see the size difference, but when you look at the fight, his style was just an enigma to Ernesto Hoos. He knocked him down twice with spinning back fist. And we talking about Mr. Perfect.
Manson Gibson was a problem for anyone that stood in front of him. Over 100 wins, and 80 of those were knockouts, including 40 of them alone were just head kicks.
Jeez,
yeah, this dude was an absolute fucking savage. He really didn't start losing until near the tail end of his career.
And the issue with him at the tail end of his career was he wasn't training serious.
He wasn't.
At that point. But when he was training serious, yeah, I mean, he had over 100 fights. I mean, at some point,
you start giving a shit.
Yeah, you start.
Yeah, like by the time takes toll.
People, a lot of people credit the Rufus brothers, you know, for their was it Rick Rufus, you know, his fight with the Thai, and that's what changed the landscape of kickboxing when it came to, you know, Muay Thai. They really should be looking at Manson Gibson, because Manson Gibson went over there and absolutely had no problem fighting their champ under their rule set and refused to change his style. Refused to utilize knees, refused to utilize elbows. He was all about showcasing the fact that American style kickboxing could be just as dangerous and just as dominant as its, you know, Asian counterpart. And he proved it.
Okay.
Hence why the Thais themselves dubbed him the Thai Killer. That wasn't a name that the American audiences gave him. The Thais dubbed him that.
The guy that beat Rick Rufus, Manson Gibson beat him twice.
Yeah.
Handily beat him.
Soundly beat him. Yeah, Manson Gibson, absolute fucking legend. Absolute legend in every possible way. The fact that Manson Gibson's not a household name is fucking deplorable. I feel like Manson Gibson is the Emmanuel Augustus of kickboxing. Lobo, if you would be so kind as to give us our movie synopsis of 1990's The King of the Kickboxers.
And now, our feature presentation. Jake Donahue has a destiny. He also has a desperate secret. For Jake, the world is a street-smart place of life and death, where every rule is challenged every day.
He's doing it again, Sarge!
Jake's future and his past are about to become one.
It's like the old West out there, and we're wearing the white hats.
I've got a case for you that might be just what we both need. Something about illegal movies.
Let's make magic. Go in, Dan.
Not going to Thailand.
Nobody pays you to think, Jake.
This land was like no place Jake had ever known.
Make you a star. Well, I appreciate your interest, Mr. McKinney, but I'm a fighter, not an actor.
We need a fighter.
They made contact this afternoon. I'm in.
What are you doing back here in Thailand?
You can help me. Teach me to stop him. What I have to offer might not be enough.
So what happens tomorrow?
I face the past.
Now, his secret and his destiny will take him to a new realm. A place where he must find a new way. Where he must prepare to survive the old way. where he must seek the true way.
The warrior who clings to life will surely die. He who embraces death will survive.
I'm ready to face it. I don't fear it.
Now he will go to a kingdom that is not a place. A kingdom of passion, power, purpose, pain. The king of the kickboxers, Lauren Avedon, Billy Blanks, Keith Cook. The king of the kickboxers.
So this is a revenge plot movie mixed in with a bizarre snuff film subplot. The main character's brother gets killed in the 80s for winning a match in Thailand by Billy Blanks' character because he's upset that an American won. Write your own irony there. 10 years later, he goes back to Thailand as an undercover cop who is pretty terrible at his job when you think about it, in order to stop this illegal snuff film factory and get revenge for his brother.
This is one of those early 90s treats. King of the Kickboxers, one of my personal favorite movies growing up. And like always, it's one of my personal favorites for all the wrong fucking reasons. One of the ways that this movie lives in infamy, Billy Blanks' character of Khan is actually the inspiration and character model for DJ for Super Street Fighter 2.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's why they have the same haircut, same double part on the side of their head, same weird looking rat tail fucking thing. And the only difference is they changed the setting from where DJ is located. And they clearly changed the moveset, which was a wise choice. But actually, one of DJ's moves is the double front kick to the midsection. So that's deliberately taken and copied from Billy Blanks from this movie. Another way that this lives in infamy, the rattan cage that they fight inside of at the end, or the bamboo cage, rattan cage, whatever you want to call it. WWE has used that for the Great Khali from WWE. His specialty match was called like the Punjabi match or some shit, where they would basically have like a cage, and it wasn't made of metal, but it was made of like bamboo and rattan or whatever, and they used that to cover the cage, and it had a dome top. That's taken directly from this movie as well.
This movie, man.
Oh, this movie's fucking great.
Dude, for as confused as I was, I will say the ending fight scene between the two guys is actually pretty good.
Oh, hell yeah, where they're dressed up like fucking con warriors and they're like fighting each other and shit. I loved that. I love the fact that they take a very young Asian American and put him in rags and then try to convince you that he's an old wise man. I thought that was great. Especially since that dude looked younger than the fucking star itself.
Yeah, that confused the hell out of me. It's like he's supposed to be this old dude, this super like wise old fighter, but he looks like he's 22.
Oh yeah, this dude's every bit of like 24 or 25, and he's supposed to be playing the fucking wise man. I fucking love that. Absolutely fucking love that. This movie has it all, man. Great fight scenes, horrible story, even shittier dialogue. But one thing that I will give it, this is one thing I will give this over Van Damme's Kickboxer. They make it obviously clear that this, not only is it shot in Thailand, it's about Thailand, it's about Muay Thai, it's about, Thai style boxing. Even though Lauren Avedon is a Taekwondo stylist and he does do a fair share of Taekwondo related moves, once he starts learning Muay Thai, he goes almost full tilt with the knees and elbows and clinch work. So I'll give him that. Unlike Van Damme, who in Kickboxer didn't learn one goddamn thing, not one piece of Muay Thai movement, nothing.
He didn't learn a low kick, he didn't learn an elbow, he didn't learn a knee.
None of it. At least Lauren Avedon in this movie utilized all that shit. Leg kicks, knees, clinch work, flying knees, Superman punches. At least he utilized those. And it tripped me out because I had to, when I went back and researched this movie, I was like, oh shit, I forgot that this is a part of the No Retreat, No Surrender series, which is another movie we're going to be reviewing at some point on the podcast. This is part 4 of that series. It's No Retreat, No Surrender, No Retreat, No Surrender 2, No Retreat, No Surrender 3, like Blood Brothers, and then No Retreat, No Surrender 4, like Karate Tigers or some shit. Justice, you have a chance of checking out King of the Kickboxers?
Yeah, King of the Kickboxers. It's got a sentimental value to me. It's one of those movies I remember watching with my uncle very young before he passed away. So yeah, it's one of those movies like it just brings back some good memories, man. And you know, watching it now is like, man, how did I watch this? But it's still, you know, it was so exciting then, you know, I was young, so yeah.
Great fucking movie. Deku, about yourself, did you get a chance to watch this film?
I'm not gonna lie. I tried to watch it. No, literally, I turned the movie on. So I just pressed play, and I immediately...
On the uncut VHS version that we used to have in the video store, there's a scene that's not in the American release version. And it's a scene where his father was a serviceman and his mother was Thai. And basically, some American servicemen beat his dad to death for fucking around with a foreign female. So therefore, Khan grew up hating Americans.
Wow, that actually makes his character better.
It does. Like, the scenes that they cut out actually flesh out his storyline. The reason why he does these smut films is because everyone in these smut films are American. So he is killing these Americans as his way of avenging his dad. But no, if you get a chance to check out this movie, like I said, it's definitely an entertaining watch. So like we always do, gentlemen, we're reviewing our craptacular karate films. We're using a 1 to 5 rating system, 1 being absolute dog shit, Hershey squirts, nothing is worse than dog shit, or 5, which is a soul-obliterating slap to the fucking testicles of cinematic greatness. For myself, because this has a soft spot in my heart, I will give this movie a 4 solely based upon the nostalgic value, the uncut version with the deleted scenes fleshing out Khan's character, and the fact that WWE blatantly stole that Punjabi cage for the Great Khali. Justice, how would you rate this movie, sir?
Man, I still enjoyed it, but man, it was terrible. It did not age well. It didn't age well. I mean, the fight scenes got better, but clearly in the beginning, some of those punches, it didn't even look like they was touching each other.
They weren't even close to
it. It looked terrible. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't close at all. Again, still enjoyed it. Still will probably watch it again, but I gotta give it a 2, man. It's just one of those. It just didn't. I'm like, man, this was it, but this was almost terrible.
All right, yeah. Lobo, how about yourself, sir?
Having seen the film, I definitely have to see the unrated version now. It really piques my interest, so I'm gonna give it a 3 just because of those scenes you mentioned.
Okay, all right. And Deku, you didn't get a chance to see it, so I'll go ahead and give you a rating on your behalf. Yeah, you give it a solid 4. I feel you. Justice, would you be so kind to let us know what is our technique of the day?
Improve your skills, son. Harden your body. Become the #1 man. Do not ever let anyone beat you.
The technique of the day. So Khan does a combination of moves where he jumps and does about 3 kicks, but only touches the ground maybe twice. If you can jump like LeBron James, like mixed with Goku, I'm sure you can find a way to pull this off. So, jump in the air, do like a split, clap your heels together on their ears.
Wait, what?
Also, bruh, listen, in the movie, he literally jumps up in the air, like almost does a split. He takes his legs, like claps them together, like ankle to ankle, over the guy's ears. Bam. but
in the film is
it's so,
unbeatable and unblockable.
yeah, it's so bad that I guess they're trying to make it seem like he's still in the air, so it cut, and all you can see like the TikTok videos where you see like people's feet and hand in their socks. So you see,
Wow.
so you, so listen, this is true statement. I'm gonna put the clip in it. This is true statement. So he does that. He does the double kick around the double clap kick over the ears. Then while he's still in the air, double kick to the chest, and then he turns around. He does one like a double kick, almost like a left kick to the sternum, and then a right kick, like a right spin kick to the sternum as well. All while being in the air at the same time. Like you don't see him touch the ground. So again,
so you thought this was cool when you was younger?
You can't find a better kick combination than this to defy gravity.
I'm about to watch it right now. Let me see what this is, because what y'all explaining is like what?
Wait till you see him jump up in the air
with a fucking Santa Claus tracksuit on.
The angle changes. He kicks. The angle changes back. He does a different kick. The angle changes back. You see but his ankles.
Dude, I didn't even think about the TikTok reference.
Your jaw hit the ground.
I'm just going to take us back down memory lane.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
All right, so since we were talking about Manson Gibson, and I really want to talk about it either way, but Mustang was talking about it. Shoot boxing, I think everyone should look that up. Created in 1985 by Caesar Takeshi. It involves like kickboxing, Muay Thai rules, elbows, knees, throws, standing submissions. It's pretty cool. You had a couple of champions, as we talked about Manson Gibson. You had Wilcar, how you say his last name?
Yep.
I can't think of it. He was a champion in shoot boxing. I can't think of the Dutch guy. Andy Sauer, he was a champion. K1 Max, you saw a lot of guys from K1 Max, and you even had Toby Amata, who was a MMA fighter. He did his thing with standing submissions, almost becoming a champion in shoot boxing. It's still kind of going, but I think they hold competitions every 2 years. Not very much. You know, you don't have a lot of athletes doing it right now, but pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, as always, Justice, I deeply appreciate that. And gentlemen, I want to say thank you for taking times out of your evening to provide us your input and your opinions in regards to today's topic. Master Blasted, giving our listeners an earful of the greatness that is Manson Gibson, as well as American Style Kickboxing. That was all I had for you gentlemen for this evening. I'm going to go ahead and play our plugs, and let's get the fuck out of here. Be sure to listen, like, share, and subscribe for the latest episodes, news, and updates. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at fistfights.friedricepodcast or at H8L.muay thai. On Twitter, follow us at H8L_Fight Talk.